This is going to be for old train. This is going to be a little video about it's kind of a continuation of the last one I did. In the last video I talked about melted lead and how much we find in Civil War camps when we're metal detecting. I've been in very few camps where there hasn't been at least some melted lead scattered around, and I was trying to figure out, you know, why there would be so much lead there. I'm not going to go into all of those scenarios because, well, let me just go to the scenario I think is the correct one. We talked about Civil War cartridges, and I brought one with me. Civil War cartridges that would be issued to anyone that carried a muzzleloader, whether it be a rifled musket with a mini ball, or a rifle with a mini ball, or a rifle or a musket. Well, actually, you had rifled muskets that you could use mini balls. You had rifles that you could use mini balls, and you had smooth bores that you use round balls in. And just to go over just a little bit of what we talked about, because I think it's important for this video, especially if you hadn't seen the last. This is a typical cartridge someone who using a muzzleloader would have. It consists of paper on the outside. It's just a paper tube that's wrapped, gunpowder here, and a bullet here. And we're just going to use mini balls today. All right. I think that there's so much lead around camps because they use these to start their campfires. Remember that the Civil War soldiers always had, you know, they had to cook their own food when they were on the march, and they had to make a lot of fires. So they had, you know, basically one for breakfast, one for lunch, or one for supper. And a lot of times at lunch they might just eat something cold, but if they could, if they had time, they would make a fire to heat up, you know, heat up some water for coffee because they love their coffee. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to take 3 cartridges. I'm going to take one. I'm going to dump the powder out on the ground at my feet. I'm just going to put the paper in the wood that I'm going to try to light and see if we can get that lit. Now, I suspect there won't be any problem getting that lit. Then I'm going to take a cartridge. And a lot of people are asking me about this, if this could be possible. I'm going to take the cartridge. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to dump the gunpowder on top. Put the paper underneath, light the paper, and see if the gunpowder and the paper in combination heats up faster and gets the fire going much easier. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the entire cartridge, just pull the little tail out, that's how you open it, pull the little tail out, put it in the fire, light it, bullet still in it, gunpowder still in it, and see what happens. Maybe it'll go like create a lot of heat and the fire will just take off and burn really great. So I actually did this experiment for the first time in my life a couple days ago, but it was really cold, like 0 degrees, just above 0, and my camera kept freezing up because the batteries, it just drew the energy from the batteries down, so it kept freezing up, and I missed a very important segment of the video. So I thought I would just do everything over again today, a couple days later, because it's 30 degrees warmer, and I think if I quit talking I can get this done before my camera freezes up. I have the fire set up. I have the cartridge, has a mini ball in the end of it that we're going to check when it's done, and I'm going to go ahead and set this in the fire. But first I'm going to take the paper and I'm just going to kind of like open it up a little bit because it'll make the fire go a little bit better, and I think a soldier might do that as well. That will catch a little bit faster. So I'm going to use these matches, wooden matches, and soldiers had these during the war. They're very common. By the way, this wood is just wood from my wood pile. So let's get this lit. Get it going good. Leave the match in there. Let it go. I'm gonna move it just a little bit. All right, so that's gonna be fine. I'll get that cranking. Get a little more smaller wood over here, just in case. But I think we got that no problem. And now I'm going to set up this next fire, and we're going to just take the gunpowder and pour it around. All right, so here's the cartridge. I'm going to just pour the gunpowder on top, spread it out a little bit, and see if that helps it burn. There you go. And take the paper, I'm going to, just like the other one, so everything's the same. Just going to kind of split it a little bit, make it so it burns a little bit easier. I'll stick it up under here, like that. little bit of wood around it. I'm going to go ahead and light this, but I'm going to do a little bit more different, because when I say more different, I mean I'm going to do a little different, because if the gunpowder ignites, it can flash up, and I don't want it to burn my eyebrows and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a match, just like we did with the last fire, but I put it on the end of a stick so I don't have to stand so close. If it starts to burn, then we'll go ahead and blow on it and see if we can get this fire started too. I'm staying back just a little bit, just in case. I can't blow on it because I'm scared. Ah, damn. Darn. Well, I didn't singe my eyebrows, but it did singe all the hair off of my hand and lower arm. As you can see, it flashed up. So that worked, putting the powder around, but check this out. The extra fire from the powder did not ignite the wood. Sorry about the little baby cussing, but it kind of scared me. Okay, this is the middle fire, and I just used the paper on here, and I want to get this so we can see what a melted bullet looks like. So that's going to be our big fire right there for like the cooking fire, and this one I'm going to let go out, and that will be just our coffee warming fire, and then we'll look at the lead in both of those. All right, same thing. I got a small fire set up here. You can see the paper, and if you look in there, you can see the gunpowder. Okay, that's the gunpowder exposed in the tube. And just so you know, I'm not using genuine black powder in here because it's very hard to come by. I am using the modern equivalent of black powder, is smokeless powder. But if you went to a gun shop and said, I need gunpowder, or I need black powder for my Civil War musket, I want to fire it, this is what they would give you. It has the same burning characteristics, except that it burns a little cleaner and doesn't make quite as much smoke. So sorry about that, couldn't find any black powder around. All right, so here we go. I got the same setup. I got a match on the end of a stick. I'm gonna light the match and touch that paper and see if it burns so hot that it just catches on fire almost immediately. Here we go. Get the edge going and let it burn down. All right, I'm actually standing back right now, so I'm not going near it. Well, I didn't catch a gunpowder on fire. Let's do this. I'm going to go ahead. There we go. Yeah, I jumped on that one too. All right, let's look at the fire. There's nothing going on with that fire, so that would not have worked using the gunpowder, the black powder. Our coffee fire is about burned down, and our cooking fire, I think we'll just kick over and see what's under there. Oh, there it goes. Looky there. All right, I'll let that get the snow on it so that it cools off before I pick it up. Come on, wait till it quits melting. Stop melting yet? Yeah, all right, so here is a piece of lead from our coffee fire, and if you look at that, it is actually a part of the mini ball. You can still see it, and I have lots of lead like this in my collection where you can actually still see part of the bullet, and you can see it started melting right there. So small, not too hot campfire will do that. I also did want to share one other thing with you, is that I have built these fires on top of the ground. A lot of the campfires I find, especially in the woods, are actually dug in shallow pits. Now, the ones in the fields have been plowed over, so who knows about those. I could not dig in the ground here because the ground is frozen. That's why I have it flat on the ground. I think it probably made it easier to cook and whatnot when they're in a pit. All right, so this one, let's go ahead and just kick it apart. Let's see if this one melted. I would think it would have. Let's see if I hit anything solid. Not hit anything. That's not too. Oh, there's some right there. Okay, where is it? There's a little piece. Oy. Put that in the snow. Let it melt down, cool off. But that's not the whole bullet. I can tell. Not enough lead there. So there may be some more in here. There's some more lead in here. There's got to be, because that's not an ounce of lead. But I'm not really seeing it. All right, let's see if this is cool enough. All right, so this is what lead would look like in a hot fire. You can see it's completely melted. There's no sign of the bullet. I'll tell you what I'll do. When I get back to the house, I'll dig through my collection and I'll get some melted lead. And I bet you I can find some that looked almost identical to this that I have gotten out of campsites. Well, what did we learn from this? Well, for me, it was the paper worked fine for starting a fire. The paper and the gunpowder spread around didn't work because when the paper was burning, I mean, it was burning fine, but once it got to the powder, it just poofed up in the air, and any fire we had started went out. Same thing with the whole cartridge. Once a flame hit that, it just poofed up in the air, and we couldn't get a fire started. So, I hope that was educational. It certainly was for me. Now I know how lead like this, more than likely, ended up in a Civil War camp. We'll see you on the next one, I hope.
She'll shake the coins from your pocket, take your gold chain and your locket. Mother Earth has no sympathy. She'll take the ring from your hand and bury it in the sand and keep it for eternity. Mother Earth, she's got her secrets she's promised to keep, hidden in her dirt or deep in her creek. Mother Earth, she ain't saying exactly what she's saving, where